Hi, my name's Ranger Kevin. I'm a ranger here at the Saugus Ironworks. We're the birthplace of the iron steel industry. We're open 7 days a week during the summer. We hope to see you soon.
The Saugus Ironworks is located just off Route 1 in Saugus, Massachusetts. It's a great place to visit and pick up some local history. The first of the 6 sections of the site is the Iron Works House, circa 1650. Ipswich, Massachusetts resident Samuel Appleton, Jr. of the Appleton Farms bought the house in 1676. Several rooms of the home have been restored with period and reproduction furnishings and are open to the public. In the mid-1600s, the English had established many towns along the coast of Massachusetts. There became a great need for iron among the industrious colonists. So in 1646, a site near Boston between the Saugus River and a huge cranberry bog was found to be ideal for the smelting of iron. Cast and wrought iron were both produced here to make farm and industrial implements for the colonists. John Winthrop, one of the most influential men of the early Massachusetts colony, and Richard Leader, an English metal expert, came upon a perfect spot for this foundry. The Saugus River could provide water power, the surrounding forests could provide fuel for the furnaces, and the mud of the cranberry bog was rich in iron ore. The men who were employed here were not part of the Puritan community, but usually skilled iron workers brought over from England and Wales. Some were indentured servants and had to fulfill a 7-year contract at the foundry before they could be free men. They were rough and tough, heavy drinkers, and prone to public fighting. The very conservative Puritan settlers kept away from this rowdy group and did not allow them to participate in their theocratic government.
Chip chop, cherry chop, fa-la-la, diddle-dop, chip chop, cherry chop, fa-la-la day. Chip chop, cherry chop, fa-la-la, diddle-dop, chip chop, cherry chop, fa-la-la day. Through drinking grog I lost me life, and this fate you might meet. So never mix your rum, me boys, but always drink it neat. But always drink it neat. But always drink it neat. Singing chip chop, cherry chop, fa-la-la, diddle-dop, chip chop, cherry chop, fa-la-la day. Chip chop, cherry chop, fa-la-la, diddle-dop, chip chop, cherry chop, fa-la-la day.
The next structure on the site, after the ironworks house, is the blast furnace. It uses a principle behind modern iron making, which was first used in the 14th century. The blast furnace is a very tall structure. This allows the hot iron to absorb carbon from the charcoal which was burned with it. The carbon from the burning charcoal combined with oxygen and formed carbon monoxide gas. When the oxygen was removed, the ore was converted into iron. By the time the ore reached the bottom of the furnace, it had turned into a liquid and could be cast and used to make wrought iron. The building at the bottom of the furnace contains extremely large bellows and ovens used to heat the charcoal and the ore. Iron was produced in the blast furnace, it was next moved to the forge, where the bars were converted into wrought iron. The iron was again heated by a fire. It was made hotter with blasts from a huge water-driven bellows. On the water wheel there were cams, which lifted a gigantic hammer, and with its downward stroke delivered the force of its 500-pound hammerhead. Through this process, the forge workers produced the wrought iron merchant bar, which was the Saugus Ironworks' major product.
Bacteria which use iron in their metabolism just like we do, only they precipitate it out. This is happening all around us all the time. It's just that mostly it rinses away in the groundwater. But if you have the right kind of still ponds or bogs, it forms into iron ore. You see those houses right across the street there? You see the tree line right behind them? Yep. That's the edge of the cranberry bog. That bog was here in the 1600s. It had iron ore at the bottom of it then. It still has iron ore now. The bacteria just keeps making more. It's a renewable resource. Have you ever looked at your drains at home and seen like orange sludge forming in your drain pipes? It's the same bacteria doing the same thing. You don't clean your drain pipes for 25 years, you'll have bog iron.
Now it seems to me that all the things you need for such a place are right here in this. You got water, you've got iron ore, or?
Exactly, yeah. So the iron ore that we have around here, they had around here were bog iron. So that's just a flat freshwater source that has bacteria inside of it. We like to call the iron bacteria. So that's how they would be able to get the iron out of it. You have the water, and most importantly the water pressure from the water that's powered by the Saugus River itself. You also have all of the trees around that would be converted into charcoal, and you have a local flux in the haunt named gabbro.
What did they use the water power for? What did they do with it?
So the water power is used to be able to power up all of the systems. It's just like a modern day outlet that you plug your phone into. So it would be, you'd be able to use the water to power the water wheels, which could power things like bellows, to be able to pump oxygen inside of either a blast furnace or a hearth. You could use it for a trip hammer, so the 700-pound trip hammer that hits down, you need a lot of water power to do that. Then also in the rolling and slitting mill, you're using it to power machinery, so bottom rollers, top rollers, and slitters.
Thank you, Kevin. Did a good
pleasure.
job.
Thank you so much.
Besides providing the local farmers and businesses with stock iron, the ironworks also housed a blacksmith shop, which sold the colonists many much needed.
Ah, kind of befuddles me mind a bit.
Rather a hot day for doing what you're doing.
It is, it is. There's been worse though. It started out nice and cool. Hot stuff, look out. There we go. Just hit the bugger. We'll heat that up again.
Are we making nails?
No, I'm making some leaves. I'm making some leaves, maybe a little flower for my sweetheart. It will never have to be watered, so she'll never be able to kill it.
Oh, all right.
But it'll last a long time.